What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another movie review. I'm Chase Lee, reviewing for DallasMovieScreenings.com, and the movie I want to take a look at right now is Abominable. Now, this one comes from DreamWorks Animation. It is written and directed by Joel Colton, and this one tells the story of a magical Yeti that is being held captive at the beginning of the film, breaks out, and is just kind of roaming throughout the city, and it ends up on a rooftop, and, it's been there for a little while, and so the main character, Yi, voiced by Chloe Bennett, her and her mother and grandmother are in the apartment right below that rooftop, and so she goes up and she discovers the Yeti and names it and realizes that she needs to take it back home where it belongs on Mount Everest and return the Yeti to their family. And so that is your story, pretty straightforward. And so going into this, I wasn't really expecting much, I gotta be honest with you, because the marketing to me was just like, hey, the trailers look fine, they look like they could be really good for families and kids for when it comes out that weekend, and they can just go enjoy themselves at the movies. But I want to give any animated movie a shot. I love the genre, and it can exceed expectations. It can really just sour expectations. It's a pretty wild genre for sure, but there can be really great movies that are animated and just really take your breath away. Case in point, DreamWorks Animation came out with the third How to Train Your Dragon earlier this year, and it was phenomenal. I absolutely love it, and I love that whole trilogy. So I know DreamWorks has it in them to pump out a good movie. Their track record's been a little spotty as of late if you are not named How to Train Your Dragon. So a little worried, and of course, Universal buying up DreamWorks, they got a lot to prove too. So it's just like a lot going on. So I saw the movie. I walked out of it, and I thought to myself, this is a fine movie. Nothing special. It's fine. And, I enjoyed myself for what it was, and I can sit here and kind of nitpick at all the stuff that I found problematic with the movie, but at the end of the day, I think a lot of families will go see this movie, and a lot of kids will love it, because I was in an audience with kids and their parents and stuff. They were all respectful. They all sat there and just watched the movie. They laughed when they laughed. They were in awe and wonder when stuff was happening with the Yeti and stuff. So I feel like this could be a really great movie for families and kids when it comes out. And I'll definitely put my recommendation for that. So if you're a family and you are looking for something to do with your kids, this weekend, go for it. You could spend worse ways for 97 minutes, trust me. So some of the stuff I found problematic with it is more technical. I think the story is pretty solid. It has a really nice message of family, connecting with family members that you may feel distant from, finding your place in the world and belonging somewhere. It's all wonderful stuff for kids, right? But I'm more talking on a technical level. To start with the animation, it's gorgeous. DreamWorks is no Pixar. That's fine. They're their own thing. I don't really hold animation studios to a Pixar standard, but when you bat in home runs, it is a little, just a little part of you wants to compare. But DreamWorks has always had good animation. Their environments, their textures, everything about it is very detail-oriented, and I like that about them. They're humans, and human characters are not really realistic per se. They're more built like cartoons, but that's fine. It works really well in contrast with the environmental backgrounds. I think my main issue I have with the animation in this is that there's a lot of leeway in logic and physics, because if you're going to make a movie that just defies all physics and just laws of gravity, and characters are floating around, flipping up and down and doing their thing, then it kind of takes away from the realism and the kind of grounded nature that you have your settings in. And so there's just a couple of times where, a character is like jumping off from a roof and like grabbing a pole and sliding down, and in a couple other times when they're on their journey, to where I'm just sitting there going, like, can you put a little bit more weight on these characters and stuff? Like, you want to make sure that the humans and everything that the humans are doing feel more grounded than what the Yeti's doing, obviously, because it got magical powers. It's more on a fantasy level. So in some ways, you can kind of argue that, well, if this is focusing on a fantasy-driven kind of beast and creature, then the movie can kind of take a little leeway. It's just little things I noticed with that. The voice work is interesting. So I don't really have a problem with like the voice casting per se. Like there's really no one that like stuck out where I was just like, oh, you should have hired someone else. This is just more of the correlation between their performances in the animation. Because there were a couple times where you would have the kids, because there's 3 kids that we focus on that take the Yeti out to its home, and there's a couple times where like the younger kid, the voice actor is so energetic and he's really getting into it, but like sometimes the animation won't correlate the energy of what they're doing in the sound booth. And then it will be vice versa, where like the animation will be energetic, kind of cartoonish, and the voice work and the performance doesn't really match it. So there's a couple times where it doesn't really correlate with that, but it's just something I noticed. It doesn't really take away from my experience, just more of a technical thing. What else? What was I gonna say? Yeah, I think that was about it in terms of like the technical stuff. But you know what, guys? This is all semantics, because people are going to go see this movie. It's a wonderful little animated film that I do think kids and families will enjoy. I think Jill Colton is working with some really nice messages and themes and stuff that I really appreciated, and I feel like she was really reaching out to the younger audience that's going to see this movie and kind of touch them that way and show them that, you know, family is really important. Like, don't become distant, even if someone has left your life. You know, there's other people around you. Like, you need to connect with them and just grow this kind of stronger bond. And there's a couple times in the movie that was really effective in that messaging and kind of got to me a little bit. I was like, okay, that's what this movie's all about. That's at its core. Yeah, they're being chased around by cartoonish villains, but the core messaging of this film is, I think, the heart that you want out of something with this story. So if you were to ask me, is this something I'm going to watch again? Probably not. Is it something I would actually recommend for families to pay full price on? Yeah, I would. Even with the grade I'm about to slap it with, I still would recommend it. If Universal is going to pump out stuff like Secret Life of Pets 2, which I didn't really care for, and it makes a ton of money, and then you have this one that's like, in my eyes, just a pretty fine movie, but it's well more handled than Secret Life of Pets 2, then go see this one instead, please. Like, it's just, it's just sometimes Universal's a little miss with their Illumination stuff, but, you know, if they can keep pumping out stuff like this and, you know, the quality of like How to Train Your Dragon, I think they're going to really steer DreamWorks Animation on the right path. So I'm going to give Abominable a C+. There you go. So nothing really more to say on that. Does not cater to me, but I found it way more enjoyable than I thought I would. And like I said, you could spend worse ways out of your day. So yeah, I'm going to give Abominable a C+. Let me know down below what you thought of the movie. If you liked it, you hated it, whatever. I read all the comments, and I really appreciate you guys watching this, subscribing, and commenting on the videos. So that will do it for this review. I am Chase Lee, reviewing for DallasMovieScreenings.com, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.